It was supposed to be a quiet night, until someone broke into the house. The elderly man inside had no chance to defend himself. But the robber didn't expect one thing: a loyal dog who refused to back down. And what the dog did next saved his owner's life. In the small town of Cedar Falls, Iowa, most people knew each other by name. It was the kind of place where neighbors waved from their porches and children played safely in the streets. At the end of a quiet road stood a small brick house where Mr. Henry Lawson lived. Henry was 72 years old and had spent most of his life working as a mechanic. After retiring, he lived alone. His children had moved to different states, and his wife had passed away several years earlier. But Henry wasn't completely alone. He had a loyal companion, a German shepherd named Rocky. Henry adopted Rocky from a local animal shelter when the dog was about 2 years old. The shelter staff warned him that Rocky had been abandoned and might take time to trust people, but Henry was patient. Every day he took Rocky for long walks, spoke gently to him, fed him by hand. Over time, Rocky became deeply attached to Henry. The dog followed him everywhere around the house. At night, Rocky slept beside the living room door, like a quiet guard. Neighbors often joked that Rocky took his job as a protector very seriously, but no one expected just how serious that loyalty would become. One cold autumn night, Henry was sitting in his living room watching television. Rocky was lying on the rug beside the couch. Outside, the street was quiet. Most of the houses had already turned off their lights. Suddenly, Rocky lifted his head. His ears stood up. The dog began staring toward the back door. Henry noticed immediately. "What is it, boy?" asked. Rocky let out a low growl. Before Henry could react, there was a loud crash. The back door burst open. A masked man stepped into the house. The robber had been watching the house for days. He believed an elderly man living alone would be an easy target. But the moment Rocky saw the intruder, the dog sprang to his feet. The robber shouted and raised a flashlight, but Rocky was already charging toward him. The German shepherd barked fiercely, placing himself directly between the intruder and his owner. The robber tried to move forward, but Rocky stood his ground, growling loudly. The man swung his arm, trying to scare the dog away, but Rocky didn't move. Instead, the dog lunged forward, forcing the robber to step back. The loud barking echoed through the quiet neighborhood. Lights began turning on in nearby houses. Realizing the situation was quickly getting out of control, the robber panicked. He ran toward the door and disappeared into the darkness. Rocky chased him all the way to the yard before returning to Henry's side. Henry sat on the couch, shaking slightly, but Rocky gently placed his head on Henry's knee, as if to reassure him. Within minutes, police officers arrived. Neighbors had called after hearing the barking and the sound of the door breaking. The officers later said that without Rocky's quick reaction, the situation could have been much worse. Word of the brave dog quickly spread through Cedar Falls. The local newspaper even published a story titled, "Loyal Dog Stops Home Robbery." A few weeks later, the town council invited Henry and Rocky to a small community event. There, the mayor presented Rocky with a special medal for bravery. As the crowd applauded, Rocky simply wagged his tail and sat beside Henry. To the dog, protecting his owner wasn't heroic. It was simply what family does. From that day forward, whenever people walked past Henry's house, they often saw Rocky sitting proudly on the porch, watching the street, guarding the man who had once given him a second chance. True loyalty means standing beside the people you love even when danger appears. Sometimes the greatest protectors are the ones who simply refuse to leave your side. Do you believe dogs have a natural instinct to protect their owners? Share your thoughts in the comments.